Did you know that in the UK, the Architects Registration Board are not here to protect architects? Did you know that plans didn't have to be stamped by an architect in order to apply for a planning permit? And finally, did you know that unlike many countries, it's not a legal requirement to hire an architect to design your project? So why even bother registering? Why pay all these fees and go through these excruciating procedures to get your name on that register? In this video, I'm going to explain the 4 reasons why I think it's actually worthwhile to register with the Architects Registration Board. Okay, let's go. Advantage number 1 is career progression. When you start your career as an architect, there is a classic ladder that you need to climb if you are interested in this kind of traditional progress, traditional career. And it's firstly by starting as an architectural assistant. And the first few years within this role, you are considered quite junior and you are considered a student and expected to go back to university at some point. And the tasks that you are asked to do can be quite junior as well. And that's from putting together an InDesign presentation, for example, or cleaning up some drawings, or even putting together a physical model. Then, after undertaking the part 3, passing and registering as an architect with the ARB, you understand how to administer a building contract, you understand the responsibilities of an architect and liabilities, etc. And all of these things give you and your employer more confidence to take on more senior tasks, like, for example, one-on-one with clients or carrying out site visits on your own, and etc. The next step up the ladder is becoming a project architect. And that means that you have much less input from a senior member of staff, and you're kind of more independent and you know how to run a project throughout different stages. The next step is becoming a senior architect, and that's when you have led and delivered many projects successfully, and so you are ready to manage a small team and take on even more responsibility. Then, if everything goes well, you become an associate, then an associate director, and then, if you want, you can even become a director. This is quite a straightforward career path, and it becomes a little bit more unclear if you are an architectural assistant and you don't register as an architect with the board, whether it's by choice or circumstance. And you kind of need to justify the next step of your career. And after a few years, you can call yourself an architectural designer or a senior architectural designer, but the road to more senior/management positions is not that clear, and I am not aware of many people in leadership position and in management positions that are not registered architects in an architectural practice. Advantage number 2 is salary expectations. And this point complements a little bit the first point about career progression. The Royal Society of British Architects, the RIBA, which is a registered charity promoting architecture and its impact on communities, amongst other things, publishes every year salary scales. So you'll have these tables showcasing averages of what salary band you fit in depending on your level of experience and where you're based in the country. And these are quite useful because oftentimes you don't really know how much you're supposed to be paid. So these give you a sort of benchmark and a starting point. This will help you ask for a salary that is at least in the right ballpark, and you can do so confidently because it comes from a trustworthy source. Registering with the Board of Architects allows you to ask for more, and that's because your title is not in question. You know where you stand, and so does everybody else's. Obviously, salary negotiation is a much more nuanced subject, and it's a skill that you develop as your confidence develops as well. and it can depend on so many aspects, including your personality. But I found that these salary scales are a good starting point. Advantage number 3 is legitimizing your service. So when you are a registered architect in the UK, your name is on the register, a public register, and so clients can look up your name and by default, in most cases, will trust you more. And same for employers. From my experience, being a registered architect makes employers trust you more and hire you more easily. This is a double-edged sword because being on the register means that you abide to a professional code of conduct and that you are more accountable for your work and for the quality and the standard of your service. And that's coming from both the employer and the client. And any mistakes can have serious consequences. In fact, the ARB will send emails to all their members, kind of shaming a little bit architects who have made mistakes and who have been struck by the board or who have had to pay considerable fees for a serious legal mistake that they have made. There are tabs on the website where people can make an official complaint against a registered architect. As I mentioned, the ARB are protecting the public rather than protecting the architect. So this is something to keep in mind. However, part of legitimizing your title means that you can open your own practice if this is something that you want further down the line. And yes, like most businesses, this will come with a lot of responsibility and liability, but this is a door that is open for you if you choose to register with the ARB and if you are interested in this career path down the line. Advantage number 4 is identity. So if you've thought of yourself as an architect for a long part of your life, or if you have invested considerable time in studying to become an architect, then it kind of becomes part of your identity. And it can be very difficult when you move to a different country and you're kind of like stripped of that title and you're not part of the club anymore, so to speak. It can be a very difficult experience. For me personally, having that recognition was very important. I remember one day going to site shortly after I registered with the ARB, and the site manager saw me from a distance and turned to his colleagues and said, guys, the architect is here. And I remember this moment. It was literally like, I was taken aback completely in that moment, but I very quickly sat very comfortably in that feeling of respect, of regard, and most importantly, I think it was fitting in because my role was defined within the team. And obviously, I don't believe that respect should be tied to a title, but unfortunately in this industry, it is still the case, and ignoring this would be kind of naive. So, what did you think? Do you agree with these points or do you disagree? I'd love to know your opinion, so leave me a comment down below. If you are an international architect who would like to register in the UK, I made a video that you can find up here where I dive more in detail about the whole process. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.